Okay, so welcome back, everyone, or welcome to the first time. I'm going live again, and today we're going to talk about the grade 8 provincial exam here in Manitoba. But first, I'm going to talk about just accessing it and doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, so if you go onto our Google Classroom, I've posted a video or posted a link to the exam. And so if you go to room 305 or room 306, you can see that there's a link here set up, and that'll take you to a PDF of the exam. What you're going to want to do is open that, obviously, and you can get to a place where you can download it. So on the top right here, you can download that and put it in your own portfolio, own folder, own Google Drive, whatever you want to do. And once you have that downloaded, then it's yours to mark up and to change and to edit. I would recommend printing it. That would be the best way to go through it, because that's how you're going to write it. But you can also download this extension called Cami. And the Cami extension is a way of marking up a Google document or a PDF file. So for example, I've gone through the steps and I have the trial version here for the next month, and you can once you have the document and you've gone through the steps, adding your email, giving it permission to check your Google Drive to access your PDF, then you can start to mark up on your computer or laptop, and you can write. It's not great. Writing with a mouse is not great, but it's a way of sort of putting down some of those answers. I'm not going to do this because I don't like using this. I'm going to be mirroring my iPad onto the screen, which I'll just set up right away. Yeah, so I'm going to mirror my iPad, and that's just a much better way for me to do it because I get to use my Apple Pencil, and just makes more sense for me. But for you other guys, use that Cami screen mirroring app. It's a pretty good one. Or print it. Like, honestly, that's the best way to go about it. Okay, as you can see, this is the June 2007 exam. Math doesn't change from year to year, essentially. This is going to be the same one that they do every year. I have probably about 15 different exams from all the way back to 2000 and as recent as 2017. So I'll post other ones and do other stuff like that, just to make sure you get to see a sort of different range. They'll have different questions, but they'll all be similar abilities and skills. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a sort of a walkthrough with some of this stuff. And yeah, so you can see that the total score here is out of 50. And there's a whole bunch of other sort of sections that we'll go through as we go through this. So this is a scan of the exact exam you'll get. I sort of took out the staples and ran it through the scanner. So obviously you notice that they include a formula sheet. You guys are familiar with this. You've seen things like this before. They don't include some of the visuals that the formula sheets I've given you before. So you do have to understand some of the more the language that they use, you know, square. Instead of showing you a picture of a square along with the square, you have to understand square, rectangle, triangle, circle, square, you know, area, perimeter. They go through some of the volumes. I think it's pretty important to understand. This is something that I think threw a lot of people off. This whole base, you know, it's the area of the base, not just the base. Like when you're finding volume, it's not just like the base of the triangle, right? Like this base and this base are different, right? I think that's something to pay attention to as you think about studying for this. They give you the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared. They even break it down further. Yeah. So let's move on to some of the stuff. So let's start off with first section, mental mathematics. And it's fairly straightforward. They're asking you to solve for n. So you'd have to use your canceling out on each side, right? You'd add them together and then try and isolate n on one side by subtracting the value here, and yeah, list the decimal that is greater. Like that's how easy is that, right? For this example here, they're going to ask that you solve it, right? You have to know your order of operations, brackets, exponents, parentheses, you know, go through all the order. Place the missing number in the chart. You have to figure out the relationship between all of the numbers. What do they seem to be doing? It looks, just looking at it, it looks like they're adding 1.5 in every box. Is that's a so? Good question, Chad. Are you doing this digitally? Well, you're not going to write it digitally, or if they cancel school, you won't write it at all. But I've shared this digitally because I'm not going to mail it to your house. You can print it off, or you can. This is really just for you to look at. I hope that helps answer that question there, Chad. So yeah, 1.5. How much of the entire region is shaded? So you have to sort of figure out. It looks like, you know, you could move this around in your head. You could break it into quarters or into sections or into more of a, you know, you could do something like this and figure out exactly how it's done, right? So it's 4 and 4, 3/8, right? And then you figure out, it looks like 3 of the 8 sections are highlighted. This goes back to the start of the year, right? Mixed fractions and dividing, right? Keep, change, flip, KFC. You're gonna have to make this an improper fraction and then keep, change, flip and get the answer, and maybe you have to go back down. These ones are adding, so also order of operations in here. I don't think this is anything that would be surprising to you guys so far, right? This is stuff you've all seen this year, and yeah. No, you don't have to finish it, Hugh. This is not a finish. This is yeah, that's right, Talia. It's to study if you choose to, or it's an overview. Just I want to show you what it is. I don't know who's seen this kind of stuff before, right? And so far, I don't think it's anything that any of you struggle with. And all exams will be sort of structured the very similar kind of way, right? There'll be differences in numbers and some of the structure, but they'll be essentially, and I'll post another couple exams in the next few days once I scan them. I just only got time to scan one at school today. It's actually a fairly busy day with no kids there. I didn't have any kids today. I think there was 2 kids in the whole school that I saw. Maybe more than that, but very few. Circle the greatest value. So you have to understand, for this one, you have to understand the exponents, square roots, and square roots are something I think we haven't really focused on too much this year. And also this is interesting. We were just talking about negative exponents the other day. So what would that mean, right? 4 times 16 is 25. How simple is that? All right, so we get to the first sort of section here. So this is strange. It says, please wait for further instructions before moving on to part 2. Again, this is my first year writing this, and it says stop. This was all, just for some context, it was all in one booklet. What if I have a... Yeah, it was all in one booklet. So I don't know how they would collect one booklet. It was all stapled together. But it says, please place your mental mathematics booklet to be collected. I don't know how they would do that. It was all just one booklet. Maybe it's just one of the ways that Fanuf, the prior teacher, had sort of collated them. Maybe it was a bunch of booklets that he put together in one so he could hand them out to kids. Before he begins. So this is like the second part of it, right? Some of the stuff you'll have to use your work. Write your name, room number, teacher's name. It's very clear. This is stuff you really need to pay attention to. This exam is going to be pretty serious. All right. 14 questions. Direction to student. Please do not turn to the next page until your teacher tells you to begin. Stop. You'll be asked. Yeah, you guys can read. Right on the bottom here, 14 questions, half a mark each. Another stop. All right. Again, please wait before you move. Why is this going on here? Part 2, 15 questions, 1 mark each. All right. Choose the number that belongs in the box. So 1.6.1. So obviously you have to find the skip counting pattern, right? 1.6 and down 1 to 0.1, then 0.6. So there's a pattern to what they're subtracting each time, and then you have to sort of jump to this box and figure out what number would go there. So after, what's the third number in there? While unpacking groceries, Santa dropped off a bag that had 3 dozen eggs in it. She found out 1/4 of the eggs were broken. How many eggs does she have left to use? So that's interesting. You have to know what a dozen is, right? So that's, a dozen is 12. She had 3 dozen. So she had 36 eggs, and then she dropped 1/4 of them. What does she have left, right? Yeah, so definitely some vocabulary in there, and then obviously some math and some in regards to fractions, right? She has 1/4 of the eggs left. Algebraic expression, 2x plus 3 can be written as 2 times a number, add 3, 2 times the sum of a number, add 3, a number increased by 6. So there's definitely some word, like vocabulary stuff here that you guys need to be paying attention to. On a number line, which 2 numbers are closest together? Interesting. Diameter of a human hair is 0.00007 meters. The scientific notation. Oh, okay. So I don't think we've done too much scientific notation. So I'm gonna highlight that for me. How do you guys feel about scientific notation? Does that make sense for you guys? 10 to the -5, 10 to the -5, 70.7. So that's something I want to definitely talk to you guys and girls about in our class, because I feel like some of us won't be able to necessarily answer that, which is not traversable. So I think this goes into tessellations, which we have not done yet either in the classroom. Traversable, I believe it means it can be rotated. So this one, if you rotate it, it has... well, maybe they don't mean to rotate it, traversable. Yeah, okay, so that's something I'll need to look at as well. Traversable. Good old math teacher without the answer. Garden fertilizer, 3 times the nutrients that are shown as a ratio. Which fertilizer ratio is 30-10-10? 21-7-7. 3 times the nutrients that are shown. So it's a ratio problem. We have a... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's going on there? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just like jumped way ahead here. Oh, a little bit ahead anyway. Pythagorean, have to solve for an unknown side. I think most of you are pretty comfortable with that. Between what 2 whole numbers does the square root of 68 lie? Interesting. 7 and 8. 8 and 9. Let p equal 2n plus 6. If the value of p is 20, what would n equal? So if 20 equals 2n plus 6. Right? Vin typed 1/3 of his story, so it's a word problem. Ratio. Percentage. Some cows and geese live on a farm. The total number of legs is 20. Oh my god. The total number of legs is 20 and the total number of heads is 6. How many cows live on the farm? Oh my god. That is awesome. 7. Oh my gosh. Are you answering number 12? Is that what you're doing? You're answering the question? 7? There's not a 7 answer. Do you want to... Okay, so some cows and geese live on a farm. The total number of legs is 20. The total number of heads is 6. How many cows live on the farm? I don't think the answer is 7. If it was, it's not there. No, before that. Oh, before this. Okay, where was before this here? Oh, let p equal. Gotcha, you're talking about this one? 7. N equals 7. So 2n plus 6. Yeah, totally. You're right, Keyston. N would equal 7. Well done. Well done. How about this one then? All right. Cows and geese live on a farm. I like that question. I think it's funny. Something about it just makes me laugh. So, what do you think? What's the answer here? Let's go. So 4 cows would be 16. And then another 4 would be 2 geese. 2 geese, another 4 legs. Yeah, what's the total answer? 6? Yeah, I think it's 4 cows, right? 5 cows would be 20, 3 cows would be 12. And 3 geese would be another 6. That'd make 18. That's not right. Anyway, we'll keep moving on here. So I think a lot of these questions seems like you have to read the question, ask what they're you can't just look at the answer and think, oh, there's fractions. You have to really sort of understand what they're asking you. I think that's really important. So it looks like reading the question and really thinking about how I need to do that problem is going to be incredibly important. You know, obviously it involves fractions. After running errands, he arrived home with 1/4 of a tank of gas left. How much did he use? The tank was 7/8. And after getting 4, he had 1/4. So that'd be 2/8, right? But how much, he's asking, how much did he use? If he had 7/8, now he has 2/8. So you have to like write out that number sentence and really look like 5/8 plus minus 4/8, or minus, what does it say? 7/8 minus 5/8 equals 2/8, right? Yeah. Taking your time going through this is going to be really important. What is the mode of the following set of numbers? The mode. If you remember, that was earlier on in the year. We didn't stay on this too long. The mean, the median, the mode, right? The mean is the middle. The median is the middle of the set. Without adding them, it's actually like the visual middle. And the mode is the number that occurs most often. So you can see here, 36 happens 3 times. 15 happens twice. Yeah, so the mode would be 36 there. MP3 players sell regular for $184. They went on sale for 25% off the original price. 2 weeks later, the same MP3 player is discounted a further 15% off the original sale price. What is the final price for an MP3 player at the store? So you have to add the 2 discounts together and then do the math. Please continue to part 3. I don't think that's too difficult for you guys, but again, this is something you want to look at and then practice. And if you have an issue with it, you can contact me. There's lots of different ways you can learn that. I'm not the only resource, but definitely a good one. Oh my gosh, okay. The diagram below represents a dirt backyard with a circular swimming pool. So dirt, pool. The dirt part of the yard needs to be completely covered in grass. The grass can be purchased in 3 different sized rolls. Joe wants to purchase the roll with the least amount of grass left over. It's waste. Which roll should he purchase? So yeah, you're gonna have to figure out the square meters, the area of the pool, and the area of the backyard. Take the area of the backyard minus the area of the pool. It'll leave you with a number, and then you gotta figure out which roll to buy with the least left over. Yeah, this is quite a bit of like thinking. Here, this is important. Let's zoom in. This stuff is going to be really important. Did you select the formula? Find the area. So you can get half marks even if you don't get the right final answer. If you can sort of show the formula, write down the formula, find the area of the circle, find the area of the rectangle. So every sort of step that you do, and then of course you have to show your work, right? Answer in a sentence even is half a mark. It's yeah. I should get Barch. I think Barchuk first would laugh at me for live streaming. I think he would make fun of me. I tried to get him to agree to do a live stream concert to sing our COVID-19 song that we made yesterday at school. You can ask Kai about it, or Hope. She was there. Maybe he would. Oh my gosh, okay. What do we got left here? Got lots left. Digital yeah, it's definitely digital teaching. It's digital something. This is some good learning for me. I have to like go through a lot of stuff to get my mic working and all my stuff set up. Something I enjoy doing. And I definitely couldn't do the same kind of thing at school either. That wouldn't work so well. Just my computer would probably crash. All right, question 17 here. A ball is dropped from the top of a 32-meter building and it bounces to exactly half the original height. If the pattern continues, how high will the ball bounce on its 8th bounce? Yeah, okay. So you're dividing things by 2. You could probably write a formula for that, but just doing the long work, showing it out would be I think would be the best, right? And you have lots of space in here. If you look at this page, all this space, and then again on the bottom, did you show your work? Determine the eighth balance. Give the correct answer in centimeters, and then answer in centimeters. So important. They've given you meters, and now they're asking on the bottom here centimeters. That's going to be really important to pay attention to again, because if you give it in meters, it's going to immediately lose half a mark, and probably will give you the wrong answer. And and then you can still answer in a sentence and show your work. So you could get 1.5 out of 3 if you answer it correctly, but in meters and the wrong units of measurement. And that would be really a bummer. So this test from 2007. Shakira is planning her summer vacation. I wonder, maybe that has nothing to do with Shakira, the actress. But delete system 32. Thanks for the advice there, chat. I don't have administrative powers at school. I can't delete anything like that. Maybe I could. But anything I install has to be reinstalled the next day. Wow, okay. Balance puzzles. So find the value of each shape. The values of the shapes are constants. A is 16. So if you remember these, we did them earlier. Immediately you have to break, because they're a balance and they're imbalanced, so you break them immediately into parts. So for this one, for example, you know that the weight here is 8 in total and 8 in total. So now this, it has to be 8, and these are both going to be 4. Then you can apply that over here. So this is going to be 4, 4, 4, and this is going to be 8. So we have 12, we have 8 over here, so we have to make that equal. So it's going to be equal, so it's going to be 24 in total. 12, 8, so this is going to be 2 and 2, and then on this side we have 4 and we have 2 and 2. Yeah, so that works out. So we have 8 in total here. And then of course you write those numbers in down there. Determine the value of each shape. Determine the value of balance B and C. Justify your thinking. So I think that's fairly sufficient justifying thinking there, right? Oh, okay, so alright, so you guys can't see this, but it says on the bottom of my screen we're on page 35 of 46, so we're getting there. Alright, so X and Y, growing tiles. The grade 8 class is studying growing patterns with tiles. The students are exploring the patterns in the following arrangement of tiles. The first 3 figures look like this. Figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. So it looks like they're just adding on, every time. Just adding. So they're adding 3 each time. So we start with 4, and then we have 7, and then we have 10. Complete the T-chart to show how the tiles are growing. So we have term 1, term 2, term 3. Let's say term. And we have a number of tiles. Term 1, we have 4 tiles. Oops. Term 1, term 2, term 3. So we have 4, we have 7, we have 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. So I guess we could choose, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's go bigger. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Ugh, that doesn't look nice. But you get the point. And you're going to have to graph these. So we have 3 in term 1, and then in term 2 we have 7, and in term 3 we have 10. I should have made this go up by 2s. That's not the nicest scale. They're probably not going to be happy with that. But obviously, you guys can figure that out. Whoa. Label, complete the t-chart, label the axis, names, plot the points on the graph, write an algebraic expression for each equation. So you could label this term, you laid this number, you can probably write that nicely in there, number, algebraic expression. So you could say y equals x plus 3. So every time, every term. Does that make sense? I'm confused. It's getting late. 2/3 of the school was covered in grass. The parent council planned to replace 1/4 of the grass with hardtop. What fraction of the schoolyard will be hardtop? 2/3 of the schoolyard was covered in grass, and then they're going to replace 1/4 of the grass with hardtop. So 1/4 of 2/3. No, 2/3 was already grass, and they're going to replace the remaining 1/3 with 1/4. So 1/4 of 1/3. All right. Again, you need to pay attention to begin with an appropriate strategy. Includes a diagram, follow a clear, accurate process, label all the parts in diagram correctly, calculate the correct fraction, answer in a sentence. These are super important. You know, you can't just write down what you think and then move on. You have to follow step by step by step. Again, I don't want to go through these all. I just want to give you an overview of the test. Some of the easy ones I might just like throw down an answer, but I'm not going to work through all these problems right now. All right, continue to part 4. Part 4 is 2 questions. Directions to student: read each question carefully. Yeah, that's it. Provide complete answers. Yeah. Clear explanations, use blah, blah, blah. All right. Again, you can read that. So this is the first of 2, and there's the second of 2. So let's look at the first one here. Word problem. In 2006, the principal of Greystone Middle School was concerned that 75% of the 420 students were always late for school. The next year, in 2007, the principal changed the start time of the day and was happy to report that only 325 of the 500 students were arriving late. Should the principal be happy with the results? Agree or disagree? So first you have to figure out the difference in percentages, or the difference in student. Well, no, you want to go percentages, right? So you want to, because we're talking about percent of students, because the total number of students changed. So the total number of late might be similar, but the total number of percentage of students late will be different. And that's what you're kind of looking for. And then you have to determine if 25% of 420 is, and if 325 of 500 is bigger than 25%. So, right off the hop, before you even start doing any of the math, you want to look at compare. This is what you're looking. You're comparing the 2 results. So you're going to show your comparison between those 2 numbers. Then you're going to support your thinking. And then you're going to show. So then comes the math. This is probably also going to involve some math. Supporting your thinking. So possible 3 marks. Okay. A company is thinking about a new package design for their crackers. They currently use the following design: volume and surface area. Okay. Create another box that has the same volume but different measurements. Use different numbers. Sketch and label your box. Show your calculations. So A, B, and C. Calculate the amount of cardboard required for your box. Surface area. Show your work. Which box do you think the company should use? Yours or theirs? I don't think you're going to get marks for making a better box, but you have to compare a box that has the same volume. All right, again, before you get started, where are the marks? Your sketching is worth half. Calculating volume is 1. Calculate surface area is 1. Showing your work in general for all of these together, half a mark. And then explain your choice of box. Obviously you choose the one with less cardboard use because you pay for the cardboard. Yeah, super simple shape. Length times width times height, right? So you have your length times width times height equals this. You want to come up with something the same volume but different length and width. So you have to realize there's a relationship. So you can move 5 over to the 20, 25 times 5 times 30. You could move, you juggle those numbers around, but keep the same numbers in general, if that makes sense to you. Moving on. Oh, that's the last one. That was it. That was everything. Amazing. So, I guess there's sort of 2 sections in there that I was thinking I haven't really touched on too much, and they were, I'll go back here, I'm sharing my screen. Those 2 sections where I know I haven't taught very much about. They were some tessellation stuff. Both of them are right here. So this tessellation, I haven't even reviewed this tessellation, so I'm not sure what they're talking about when they say traversable. And then the scientific notation. We just touch upon that like a tiny bit with the negative exponents. Haven't done too much of that yet. So that's something that if you know already, that's great. If you're comfortable with it. If you don't know that, we'll have to talk about it in a little while once school starts again, or I can share some videos on Google Classroom. And yeah, feel free to look at this, open it up, leave a comment, say, hey, Mr. Pierce, on Google Classroom, I don't get this part, can you go a lesson or share a video, and we can move towards that. I think that would be a great sort of opportunity to use this time, rather than me just posting things I think that some of us need to know. You can post things that are specific to what you think you need to know. I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm tired, and I am, yeah, all right, well, take it easy. I'll still be on Google Chat for a little bit probably, but I'm gonna stop video recording, so see you later. Stay inside, wash your hands, don't just watch YouTube videos the whole time. Take the COVID thing seriously. It's serious. Take it seriously. Peace out.